Good morning. Right. How are you feeling this morning?
Good. Everything's
Awesome.
good. Yes, everything's good. How about you?
Good.
Wonderful. Who was that?
Who is what?
I popped up. I can just see admit.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. I'm gonna open the weight room. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm look. I'm working today, Coach Lucky. I'm working today, but I'm still here. I'm on a
Mhm.
call.
Hey,
Gonna be here.
I appreciate you being here any way you can. That's wonderful. How you doing? How's your week? How's everything?
My week has been good. On Wednesday, it's crazy because everything that we talked about Saturday, it was like we're gonna bring it back on Wednesday at church so we can drive the point home for you because it was really about being still and knowing. And then he was saying like that know, the word that they use in the Bible is gnosko. So it's to like truly know.
Uh,
So I got a cool new word for the week, gnosko. And yes, everything that's happened to me this week, it made me go, yes, I have to truly know and truly be understanding and be still. And because I know who I am, what I am, and that the fact that the world works in my favor, um, yeah, I could be still and gnosko.
yeah, it's almost like when you know you're a parent, you're not afraid of your children. You're not in a panic to prove that you're a parent. You're not concerned that they could do something to you or they could stop you from what you wanted to be or do or have. You understand that you're in control of them because you're a parent. So nothing you're doing is to prove that. It's only because you're aware of that. But the more aware of that truth you are, the better parent you are because you don't need to beat the heck out of them to make them like you or to make them be afraid of you. You don't need to mistreat them or disrespect them to make them have the respect or the admiration or just the awareness of you. But that's because you are aware of you. You know who you are. And the world is just like your child or like your children. It is something you created. It is something you created that you are in control of and in charge of as part of your experience. So then you realize the world can't or wouldn't in its natural form or state do anything to you. It can't do anything to you. It is your child. It is something you created as the highest authority. Therefore, you can enjoy it. Therefore, you can interact with it in ways that are pleasant to you. It's literally no different in principle as far as the net effect, how this actually works. It's the same. Only the people who don't know, only the people who don't want to be parents or don't like being a parent or don't care about being a parent or don't don't really have a vision for it struggle with it as far as not effort. It's parenting is effort. It takes effort, but it doesn't have to be the struggle and all the stuff that so many people make it because of their incorrect relationship with this experience. And that's because they don't know. They don't really know who they are. So they don't really know how this can go or does go when you know. And the world is the same thing as your child. The world is something that people fear because they don't know who they are. And when you don't know who you are, you don't have a proper contextual relationship with anything outside of you. Because it's almost like if your finger becomes disjointed, if it gets out of joint, it's hard for you to grip anything properly because you're already coming from a place that's off a little bit, right? So when you pop it back in, then once the pain subsides, you're able to work it properly because everything is in its right place and order. It's hard to work things properly when they're out of order, when they're out of joint, right? When they're disjointed. So absolutely, you're correct.
I was gonna say another way, because I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna go even more specific. So I try to call my daughter the other day. Normally she's home from school a certain time, and someone was trying to get in contact with her and my son, right? My son's dad was trying to get in contact with him. And I said, well, her phone's probably dead because I'm the parent. I know that Gnosco.
Yeah.
And I said, her phone is probably dead. It's okay. Just give it a few. He's like, you're not worried? No, not right now. I'm not. But when I get to where I'm going and I get situated and I call back, if I don't hear anything, my worry might be slightly elevated, but I'll figure it out from there, which I did. And yeah, I knew her phone was dead.
Right? And
it was like, we don't have to do all this freaking out and extraness for no reason.
Yeah. Because, and like we said, if we understand that the world is just like our child, it's something we created to have an experience and interaction with, then we don't freak out about it because we know we're in control. We are the parent. Leslie and I were talking about this yesterday, that no matter how old we get as a person, our parents are always older. We never become the parent. Sometimes we feel like it in behavior, right? But we never become the parent. They're always the parent. They're always going to be higher. That's just what the natural order is. And it's the same thing. When we know who we are, we come back to that truth that we're always higher than the world. We created the world. So the world, therefore, is like our child. It is something that we created to have a relationship with. And no matter how old the world is, we're older. No matter how strong it is, we're stronger. No matter how wise it becomes, we're wiser because we were here first. So when you know yourself as a parent, you know your child. So when they're sick, even before they get there, when they're mad, even before this starts, you just know. And everybody who isn't that parent or doesn't know you or your child will be looking like, what are you talking about? Oh, I'll be like, yeah, she's not feeling well, I can tell. And they're like, what do you mean? I just saw her 2 minutes ago and she was running down the street. And then 30 minutes later, they're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, she's in here laying down. She's not feeling well. And they're like, how did you know? Because I know. I'm their parent. I know this person. Right? Because they came from me and I know me, therefore I know them. I have the relationship. My mom used to always tell me, don't let anybody know your kids better than you do. She used to always say that. Now, obviously, she's been saying that since I was little. So obviously it wasn't because I had kids, but she was instilling an awareness of, hey, I know you. I know who you are, I know you. So when you can understand yourself a certain way, then it allows you to understand everything else outside of you to that same degree. So know thyself. That's why it's the first rule. Know thyself. If you don't know yourself, like I said, it's like having a disjointed finger. It's hard to grip something properly. It's hard to hold anything properly because you're operating from a point of disjointment, disconnection, which becomes discontent, disillusionment, right? Discouragement. it becomes because you're not lined up properly. So absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everyone. Happy Saturday.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, it's wonderful. Good to see everyone. All right. It's showtime. We're on.
Good
All
morning.
right. We're on from the gate.
Did everything look okay? Can you scoot back a little, please?
Me?
Yeah, because
No.
your head's being cut out.
No. There's nowhere else to go.
All right, fine.
There's no, I could scoot the thing back a little bit.
No, don't touch it. It's okay.
Okay.
All right.
I got a flat top. Everybody, I got a 1991. I got a flat top. I'm back. Okay. I'm back. All right. I sent you a slide. I'm not sure. It was one of the last minute ones, and I titled it Perfect. So that way it'd be a little easier to find. Just that one.
Wait, you send me something else?
Yes. But you can just pull it up from that. You don't have to put it on a slide. It's just like a little sentence. It's not a long stanza or anything like that.
Lucky.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening, you guys. Real time.
Yeah, I'm a freestyler. That's what I do.
Ay, Dios mío.
I got written songs and I got off the top of the dome ones.
Still,
That's it.
talk a little bit
All
before.
right. So who has ever heard of who's ever said be quiet?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when you say to someone be quiet, what are you actually saying when you say that? You're saying be quiet. Like think about it. What are you actually saying? Whether in your words, what are you inferring? What are you insinuating? All of it. What is your word? What do you mean when you say that? What are you inferring? What are you insinuating? What do you mean? When you say be quiet, what does that mean?
Turn off the noise.
Okay.
Stop talking.
Okay. So cut off the noise. What is that? Cut off the noise. Stop talking. So when you're saying be quiet, what are you saying?
Stop.
Okay. What else?
Be still.
Okay. Okay. So when you're telling someone to do something, you just told them to do something. And everything you told them to do basically told them to what?
To shata?
To stop doing what they were doing.
What's the key word?
Stop.
Stop. How are they going to stop if you told them to do something? How do they stop?
You were specific as to what you were telling them to stop doing.
Okay, so the key word is stop. Stop. So you said be quiet, and you're saying being is stopping. Stop something. In order to be, you have to stop something. In order to be one thing, you have to stop something else. So when you're saying be quiet, what are you stopping?
The noise.
Okay. And when you're saying be, what are you saying? What is be? When you say be quiet, what statement is that? What kind of statement is that?
Command?
So be then is what?
An action.
Be is
A state.
be is
A verb. A verb.
be is
A command?
a command. that is seen as a verb because there's an action to it. It is a state because why? In the sense of it is a state of awareness that you enter because you stopped being somewhere else. You stopped something else. So when you say be quiet, are you asking someone?
No.
So if you're not asking them, you're saying whatever you're telling them to be. What are you saying then?
Change your state.
So why would you tell them that?
Is it getting on your nerves?
No. So what? So what? If you walked outside, and let's just say you walked outside to your car and you were like, man, I sure wish this was a motorcycle, and you were upset about it. What would that do?
Nothing.
Okay. So then if you're telling them to be quiet, why are you saying that? Why can't you say that?
I don't know.
That's okay. That's what we're here for. That's okay. You're saying that because because they can. You're telling them to be something because they can, not because they're actuating it currently, but you're telling them to be something because they can. That's why when you walked out and you look at that car and you said, oh, and we wish it was a motorcycle, what did that do? Nothing. Because that car cannot be a motorcycle no matter how much it's getting on your nerves. So you're not telling someone to be quiet because they're getting on your nerves, because it wouldn't matter if they couldn't be what you told them. So you're only able to say that to them because they have the capacity. They have the ability, even if they're not actuating it currently. Do we understand that?
No.
Yes. No.
Huh?
No.
We don't understand that.
We don't.
You said no?
Monique said-
I
Yeah.
said no.
No. Okay. Tell me what you don't understand.
All of it. You said be. I don't know. I didn't catch it. I didn't understand any of it.
Okay, that's all right. So when we tell someone to be quiet, right? We tell them because something, right, they're being too loud, or maybe you just got tired of talking to them, or they're getting on your nerves, right? Let's just say. So we're telling them to be something different. In order for us to be something different, one of the first things we have to do, like everyone said, was what?
Be.
How do you do that? What's one of the first things you do by doing that? You stop what you're currently being loud. You stop, right? Because right now you're currently being loud. So you have the capacity to be loud. That's why you're being it. Well, if someone else wants you to be something else, if we want them to be quiet, then one of the first things they do by being quiet is stopping what they were currently doing or previously doing, which was loud. We're always being something. Always. So when we tell someone to be quiet, no matter why we said it, we're able to tell them that because we are recognizing that they have the capacity to be not to be something else and to be this thing in particular, quiet. They can be quiet, they can be loud, they can be smart, they can be annoying, they can be happy, they can be funny. We're telling someone to change the channel, so to speak, to do something different. But we only have the ability to tell them that because they have that ability. We wouldn't make it a command, right? We wouldn't, meaning a command is not only like, you can like, oh, will you be quiet, please? It doesn't mean you can't put it in a question form, but the command is the awareness that it is possible, that they are capable, even if they're not acting like it right now. We can say be quiet because the be is a command because of your ability, not because of how you phrased it. The be is a command because of ability, not because of whether you put it in a question form or a statement form. But it is a command because of ability. Someone can be quiet, just like they can be loud.
Got it. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. Like you can't say be a bird. Yeah, that's
Correct.
impossible. Okay.
Correct. Correct. All right. Who has ever who has ever heard, so we be quiet. Who has ever heard, which one do I want to say first? Who has ever heard no one is perfect?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Who's ever said it?
I've said it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the book, it says, be you perfect
Mm.
as your Father in heaven is perfect. Now, when you tell someone to be quiet, right? When we talked to, what words do we use? We said stop, cut off, right? Stop something else, cut off this other thing. So if the book is telling you to be perfect, what is it saying to you? If that awareness is telling you to be perfect, what is it saying?
That the ability to be perfect exists.
Correct. And it exists where?
Within all of us.
Correct. Within all of us. It's not just a theory. It's not just something we're looking out on the horizon like, hey, there's perfection over there. Maybe one day we can make it. Now, what does the word perfect mean? What does that word mean?
Without flaw.
Yes, that is the outcome of it.
Okay, I may need you to move the camera back.
That is the outcome of it.
And then, do you want me to share the screen now with the slide? With the,
Not that one. It's okay. I
Okay.
think. All right. Can you guys see me now?
yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Now we see
How-
your beautiful
how can it be
face.
perfect if perfect doesn't exist? It exists. But we just don't know. I'm saying it this way. We don't know how to get it. So what does perfect mean? Fact, right? It means to do or make. I know it's not always clear. I'm just writing kind of as I think. So it really is more for me than you. Fact, it's a compound word. Fact means to do or to make. Per means complete. So perfect means to do or make complete. So if it says be you, right? And it's talking about us in physical form, right? All of our names. Be you perfect. If it's telling you to be, then what is it telling you?
Be whole and complete.
What is being whole and complete? What is the being?
Mm.
Your behavior.
Do dead people have good or bad behavior?
None.
Neither.
Okay. So then what is your behavior predicated by or on?
Being alive?
Okay. And then everything you do from living, from being alive, subsequently your behavior, all of your actions is predicated on what?
Awareness?
So being is what?
Awareness.
A mindset,
Being is awareness.
awareness,
Being is awareness. When you're telling somebody to be quiet, what are you saying? You're saying you want them to be aware. You want them to be aware of being something else, of actuating something else now. They have the capacity, but without putting their awareness on it, they don't display it. Does that make sense?
yes,
Yes? So
Yeah.
as be you perfect, it is saying that you can become aware that there is an awareness in you called perfect. Just like there's a room in your house called a kitchen or a den or a living room. But if you're not in there, what does it do?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. But does that mean it doesn't exist?
No.
It just means you're not in there. So then when it says be perfect, when you go into your living room, you can only go into your living room because it existed before you walked in it. Is that correct?
Correct.
correct,
Reason you can walk in it. Perfection exists to do or make complete, to be whole, lacking nothing. That room, that experience exists currently, but without telling someone to be, or it's to get their attention. That hey, when you tell someone go into the kitchen and get a knife for me, go in the kitchen and get a spoon for me. Before you told them that, were they there?
Were the utensils there? Yeah.
Were they there?
No, not the person.
Correct. So you cannot tell them to go somewhere that does not exist. Is that correct?
Okay, yes.
So if the book is telling you to be perfect, how is it telling you to be something that you not only can be, but that must already exist as truth? Meaning there is an aspect in you that exists already that is complete, whole, made that way. You are made whole. You are made complete. You were made that way from the beginning. You're not trying to become complete or whole. You are already that way. You just aren't aware of it. You're not being quiet. You're not being perfect. You're not aware that you are. So therefore, you cannot express it. So just like we told somebody to be quiet, I'm telling you to be perfect. I'm telling you that in you there is an awareness of being that you already are that. In your house, there is a kitchen, there is a living room, there is a den. You may not be in it right now, but I can tell you to go there. But the only reason I can tell you that is because it already exists. That aspect of you already exists. You're just not aware of it. You're not in that room. Your mind is not on that. Now, when you walked into that room, so when I told you that the room already existed, so when you walked into that room, did you create the room that you just walked in? In that moment, did you create the room?
No.
No. So when I tell you to be perfect, and it's not me because I didn't write that book, let's just say, right? So it's telling you to be perfect. So then when you now turn your awareness onto being perfect, is that something you have to create?
No, just become aware.
So becoming aware, so being is actually,
awareness,
Awareness.
yes, and only awareness, what?
exists.
Exists, and what else? That is correct.
That's all that you need. That's all that matters.
Why is that? It's true. Why? That is true.
It's already in you.
Okay. How did it get there?
It was there when you were created.
So then awareness is what? Awareness is the creator. Awareness is the doer. Your awareness, wherever it is what's making you do what you do. You don't have free will in the way or area you think you do. Your behavior is not free. It is indicative of, or it is representative of, or a reflection of what?
The creator?
Yeah.
Of which is,
I am.
I am.
which is
All of us.
awareness. I am is awareness. When you say I am, you're saying I am what? You're saying awareness is. In physical form, you're saying I am. What you're really saying is awareness is. I'm aware of being something. Whatever you're aware of being is what is governing your actions. All your actions are a reflection of it. Your awareness is like what you put on. Your behavior is like the mirror reflecting it. Everything you do is pointing back to what you're aware of being. Just like your children look like you, they may be older, they may be 50,000 miles away, they may be whatever. They are still expressions of you no matter how old they get or how far away they are. They do not exist without you. Meaning if there was no you, there was no them. There is no them. So when LaToya was talking earlier and she said, "Oh, I know, my daughter's phone died." That is just like I said earlier. My mom used to always say when we were young, "Don't let anybody know your kids better than you do." So when LaToya said that, she's like, "Oh, her phone is probably dead." It's because she knows her child. Your awareness, the only person who can't answer this is Leslie, because I came up with this on the moment when I was talking to her yesterday on our call. Who is a child of God?
Aren't we technically all?
Who is what? Who is a child of God? Who is it? That was perfect, but who is it?
I am.
I am.
Who is a child of God? Okay, I am. Who is that?
Well, we just established that that's awareness.
Listen to what I'm asking you. Who is a child of God?
Awareness.
Did you guys go to school? Were you in class? What did I
Are we
say?
supposed to say Jesus? Because I feel like this is a trick
I
question.
like mess with you. Listen to the question. Listen to every word in this sentence. Who is a child of God? What's the key word in there? What's the key word in that sentence?
Child.
Child. So how could that be I am? Who is a child of God?
Our experience?
Who is a child of God?
Ay, Dios mío.
Children.
Who is that?
I said it was all of us.
Who is that?
Me.
Everybody.
Who is that?
Everybody.
Who is that?
You.
Human.
Who is that?
Creation. Whoever says it is.
No, all of you got an F. Wait, the F is back.
Thanks.
Oh God, here we go.
Back. You look, I don't have red. All of you, 1985 on the paper before they had the oceans and everything. Now you got an F. Okay, F. So, a child of God is Natasha. Natasha is a child of God. Marlon is a child of God. Every one of you in your physical form is a child. Who is the parent?
That's what I said.
No, it is a different, it is not I am. I am is the father. Veronica is the child. So a child of God is you in physical form. It is Marlon. It is Della. It is the physical flesh. It is the physical being. That is the child of what? Awareness. That is why awareness is always telling the child what to do, how this is going to go. Awareness, what does it say? Before I formed you, right? I knew you and I called you by name. When Latoya said her daughter's battery went out on the phone, she knew. She knows her child. Awareness knows Veronica. What did I tell you months and months ago? You can't finesse I am. You can't finesse your awareness of being. You can't do it. It's like trying to trick your parents. Only when you're young and stupid do you think you did it or that is actually going to work out. Any person with any maturity be like, man, this all sounds good. Man, this sounds good. Yeah, it does, but it's not going to work. I know it sounds good, but it's not going to work. They know too much. They're 20 years, I got 20, 25, 30 years more game. Do we really think it's going to work? Only a young person would agree with you. A child of God, an expression. A child is what we are in physical form. We are always underneath our awareness. Our awareness is always governing what it is we're doing. The thing that makes this feel real is the one caveat, which is we have a thing called free will. What is free will?
You can do what you want.
Okay. So if your child comes to you and says, can I go to the party? And you say yes. The first thing they had to do is what?
Ask.
Ask. So guess what they are? The child. That's because they're the child. Who has to say yes or no?
The parent.
Okay. Now they're outside the house. They have what you call what?
Free will.
Free will.
Free will. Are you holding their hand? Are you batting their eyes? Are you swallowing for them? Are you doing any of those things? They're not even in the house. So they have free will. Is that correct?
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So then whatever they do, they got to do, whatever they do was their own what?
Free will.
Free will.
Was their own what?
Choice.
Choice. Now, when all those choices end up and add up at the end of the day, what happens after that?
They got to go home.
They got to go home. And what happens if any of those choices don't work out?
There's some consequences.
There's some
Facing the consequences.
right? We're going to have a conversation. My boy Peter and I came home late. I told you guys this before, came home late, thinking we're Ocean's 12, Ocean's 11, thinking we can break in the house like some kind of cats, like nobody will hear us. And walked in the front door, pitch black. My mom's sitting there like Nino Brown on the couch. Almost passed out. All the tough guy thing went out. We out in the street talking crazy to everybody. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna beat you up. Got in the house. My mom, 5'6" or so, sitting there, 130 pounds or so. I don't know, but smaller than everybody in the house, sitting there, just looking like, I don't know if it was God or the devil at the point. I don't really know.
I love it.
Mute her.
No.
She was sitting in the dark and didn't say a word. And I don't even know how we saw her, but we're lighter than a tiptoe. I mean, we are on our toes like primo ballerinas. We on the top. I'm walking on my toenails. I'm trying to get in there so light. And she was sitting there. I don't know how we saw her. She was sitting there. And it was like, oh God. Oh, it just, everything dropped. It was like one of those amusement park rides. Everything just dropped to the ground. Heart dropped, stomach dropped, everything dropped. She sat there. We looked at her. We looked at each other. She sat there for, I don't know how long, felt like 50 minutes. But she sat there, got up, didn't say a word, and walked into a room. We didn't sleep that night. Because I knew from when I was young, like, that's when spanking time came when I was young. Oh, yeah, go on right to sleep. Oh, don't worry about anything. Go on right to sleep. Boy, I don't know what time it was. You feel the covers come off, and you don't, it just all of a sudden it's an amusement park. Everybody's running for their lives in the dark. You don't know where you are. You don't know what time it is. You just messed up. Right? So I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I knew I was too old at that point, but I still knew I still wasn't going to sleep that night. And I was like, oh, no, brother. No. Wake up. No. Wake up. You staying with me. We are out together. We up together. But the point is, right, when you come home after making all the choices, if they're not good, so to speak, they're consequences, right? They're consequences. So then what does that tell you about your behavior? What does that tell you about your choices?
They were consequences of my awareness.
Yes, but what is it telling you as a principle?
Choices come with consequences.
So are consequences automatically bad?
No.
No.
That we're meaning by consequences, or they just come with outcomes?
If I don't like the outcome, change my choices.
Correct. But we try to change our outcomes while keeping the same choice. Most of us are trying to be something different with the same experience. We're not willing to tell ourselves anything different, be different, act different. We want to make the same choices, hoping it'll work out differently. Well, I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't be quiet. I can't control myself. I can't stop drinking. I can't stop smoking. I don't care what you're doing. It's not the point. The point is you can't get a different experience if you want to keep doing the same thing. And you keep doing the same thing because you don't want to change your choice. But you want a different consequence. You want a different outcome. You want to keep thinking the same and get something different. It doesn't work like that. So even though you think you have free will, you're still really under the authority of awareness. Awareness is not making you make that choice. You are choosing. You have free will. You have free will is the ability to choose. That is free will. That's the only free will you have and you're ever going to get in this physical experience is the ability to choose. Now, the book gives you suggestions. Be perfect. It'll tell you that I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health. I wish. But I'm wishing why? Does God wish? No. But God has given you your awareness when you came in physical form. You said, okay, how can I make this human thing seem real? You know what? I'm gonna really think I'm Karen. And I'm gonna give myself the ability to choose anything. So Karen chooses I am powers. I am doesn't choose anything in this physical experience. Karen does that. But I am powers whatever Karen chooses. Karen chooses I am powers. So if Karen says she's stupid, I am will make sure that's so. If Della says I gotta have this before this happened, I am will make sure that it's so. It doesn't matter how long you stay up. It doesn't matter how many hits you make. If you have to see a red cow before you have a number one hit, you will have to see that before you have a hit. It doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter how many songs you write, how long you stay up, any condition that you put in place in order to have the experience you want must be met before you have the experience. That was your choice. You said you have to have this before you have that. You said you have to go here before you get that. You made those choices. The child here, Latoya, Veronica, yes, we are all God's children, but God is I am. I am is within us. It is the authority. But our physical body is being governed, right, by that authority. However, that physical body has a name. That physical body with the name is the child. It is the one subject to I am, to the awareness. So when you make a choice, you're choosing an awareness. That's what you're choosing. So when you say I'm broke, you're now turning your awareness to that. And I am says, keep the party going. Let's turn that out. Let's get it going. I am doesn't make choices here. Latoya makes choices here. I am powers the choice. That's the free will you have. That's the only way and reason humanity feels like it's you. So when you say we all are, yeah, but we, who is we? Who is we? Your experience and you are not the same, even though you're one. You, when you're in your car, are one. So if you got into an accident, somebody would say you hit them. They couldn't find your fingerprints on them, but they identify you as one with this vehicle. Is that correct? Hello? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So that means you're responsible for your vehicle, right?
Right.
But can't you get out of the car and the vehicle be outside and you be inside?
Yeah.
Aren't you glad you're not one out there in the rain?
Yep.
Aren't you glad? I remember living in Chicago and DC for a little bit. I was glad I was not one with the car outside in the snow. I was happy about that. I was glad that the car wasn't really me, even though I may have been in it all day. You are in your body all day. You're in your body for 100 years. It doesn't matter how long you're in it. It's not you. It is yours. It's not you. So yes, you are one with it as long as you're in it, but you still have to be able to separate. So when you say we are, who is we? Are you talking about the car or you? Are you talking about the experience or awareness? Which one? They're not the same. Does anybody go out there and park themselves on the street? I'm parallel parking my body on the street. Anybody doing that? Anybody laying down next to the curb? This is my spot.
Nah, it's some people now.
Right? And it will let you know who doesn't have what Latoya said, right? The Gnoski. True knowledge of self. They don't know their self. That's the only reason they're out there. There's a difference between who you are and your experience that you're having. Just like there's a difference between you and your car. Your car is going through the car wash. You may be in it, one of those gas station car wash. It's getting washed. Does anybody roll the window down when they're in there? Why not? That's you. I thought you told me that's you. Oh, now it's not you. It's not you now. Now go to the car wash, it's not you. Now all of a sudden it's not you. I thought it was you. I thought you said you were human. What happened? Man, it sure does get quiet.
There's mechanical stuff on the outside that I operate on the inside.
Oh man, it sounds good. But I mean, wonderful. Oh, it all sounds wonderful in church. It's heaven for a couple hours. And you go outside after a couple days and it looks like hell. Because we forget. We forget. We start thinking differently. My goal is to remind you. That's what we're here for. This information that we use every week is to remind you of who you really are. Doesn't matter if you're going through the car wash. If you roll the window down, that's a choice. That's a you problem. And you're not designed to be wet the same way that car is. You're going to care much different about it. You're going to care much different about it. You wet and your car wet. So even though you and your car are one while you're driving it, you're not your car. Even though you and your body are one while you are living in it, you are not your body. So what comes with a body? What comes with that? With a human body, what comes with that?
Responsibility.
No. What attributes come with a human body? What thing?
Organs?
Yeah, skin, flesh.
Internal organs?
Okay, skin, organs. What else?
Arms, legs.
Okay, extremities.
Experiences.
No, that doesn't come with a human body. That comes in a human body, but that doesn't come, no. What, your brain? Anybody's brain working when they dead?
Nope.
Anybody go to the graveyard and be like, hey, is that Willis over there talking? Anybody seen that?
Not Willis.
Okay. Right? So that means any of these things that you would attached to your body, guess what they are not?
Awareness.
They are
You.
not you.
You. And you, as LaToya said, awareness. They are not awareness, but they are the possession of awareness. They are awareness's possession. So that, guess what? That means your body, skin, brain, all that stuff is a reflection of what?
Awareness.
Yes.
So how do you think you're going to fix anything over here if you don't go to here? If you don't go to awareness? You think your diet's going to do it for you? You think that special magic lotion going to do it for you? You think budgeting is going to do it for you? All you're doing is using different aspects of awareness. You are creating more hurdles and more middlemen. We have more gods than we choose to believe. We have the God of budget, the God of diet. We have the God of economy. We have the God of degrees. We have the God of college. We have the God of lotion. We have the God of, we have 1,000, meaning we have 1,000 things that we say, if we do this, then we can. But everything that you would go to, okay, let's just say, I don't know. Everything that you would go to, you made. Everything you would go to, you made. That lotion you believe in, why do you think you believe in that lotion? Because you made it. Who made lotion? Did somebody else make lotion beside I am? Did somebody else make it? Whoever made that lotion in physical form, would they not define themselves as I am Willis? I am Leroy. I am Sophia. I am Sparkle Bailey. They would identify themselves as I am. Then this. So then who made the lotion? What?
I am.
Okay, so we go to I am. So who, if we're going to I am, who are we going to?
The parent.
Ourselves.
Ourselves, the parent, ourselves. Then
Lucky, I just want to share, because you can't see the chat, but Latoya says something hilarious. She said, it's like asking your kid to borrow their money.
yes. All that. Man, grandma chipped you off this Christmas, 500? Hey, what you gonna get mom for Christmas? I'll take my nails getting done. My mom, her birthday's in January. She'll call me right now. She'll call any of us, any 5 of us, and be like, hey, my birthday's coming up. It's May. Yeah, but it's coming up. So I think I'd like to get my nails done this weekend. It's May. Yeah, but she'd have no problem asking. This is what it is. This is what she thinks this is a good idea. No shame or nothing. She'll call. I'll be like, Mom, here we go. Hello? Hey, no hello or nothing. I said hello. She don't even say hello. Hey, I was thinking, when that happens, it's just like, okay. It's the same thing as like what had happened was. It's kind of like the same thing. You just put your seatbelt on and just hope you're tied up and you're sitting down because something's happening. Something's coming. Right? But the point is that everything that you would go to is essentially you. You made it. But you're putting all these middlemen in front of all these obstacles. You're putting all these conditions in front of your own outcomes, your own desired outcome. You are not your body. You're not your skin, your organs, your extremities, your brain. Those are not you. They're your possessions, just like a car is. So I say my arm, like you say my jacket, like you say my car, like you say my means it's not me. It is mine. It is a possession. But if it's a possession in my right mind, like LaToya and I were talking when we first got on the call this morning, right? When knowing the world is like knowing your children. You created both of them. You created your children and physical experience. You created the world as I am consciousness before you had a physical experience. That's why that Christ mind said, Father, return to me the glory I had with you before the world was. You were before the world was. So the world was made by you. So the world is the same thing as a child to you. It is there, something that you created to have an experience with and in, just like you created your child. And if you know that that's what the world is for and how to have an experience with it, that you're in control of it, you're in charge of it, it's not in control or in charge of you, then you will have the same good experience in the world as you will with your children. But if you don't know your children, it's going to suck. Because whether you know them or not, it's effort to be a parent. So whether you know who you are or not, you're having an experience with the world. But your experience with the world is just like your experience with your children. It's a much different one if you know who you are and therefore know who they are properly. Your experience will be different. I am created the world. Isn't that what it says?
See,
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, speak. This is, hey, speak up.
you have us mesmerized.
Okay. Ain't nobody mesmerized. Pay attention. This is what you created the world as I am. You had glory before the world was. So if you had glory before the world was, what do you have now?
Glory.
Does it sound like it?
No.
Does it look like it? Do you talk like it?
Sometimes.
Do you act like it? Before you got on this call, Karen, you were who?
I am.
Before you got on this call,
Okay. Who before we got on this call, I was me, Karen.
that's right. So during this call, you're what?
Karen. I am.
And after this call is over, you're what?
I go back and forth, but I must remember I am.
Yes. But you're still Karen in physical form after this call, right?
Correct.
Before, during, and after. Well, you are what you are glory. You were glory before this call, during this call, and after this call. We forget constantly. And when you don't know who you are, you act like it.
Very true.
We act like it. That's what this is what you if you know who you are, you don't need the things that you need when you don't. I'm not telling you or teaching you anything new. I'm reminding you of what you know and have forgotten. So you don't need me and you don't need anyone the way you think you do. But until you know that, until you know who you are, you do. You don't need training wheels. But if you're learning how to ride, for most people, it's a good idea. But as soon as you learn how to ride, the training wheels come off. This is all this is training wheels. That's why I say I don't need you. So I'm not trying to keep you. So I'm not gatekeeping the truth from you. I'm not trying to keep the training wheels on you forever so you stick around. Because I'm rich without you. I don't need you. And I'm showing you you don't need me. Meaning you don't need anyone outside of you to be who you want to be because you are glory. You are the king. You are the queen. You are the top. You are the authority. And when you don't know it, it looks like it. You start crying. You start whining. You start doing all kind of other things. How can you be broke when that Christ mind said, Father, all that I have is yours and all that you have is mine? If you have all that God has, how could you be broke? So you either don't believe it or you don't believe it. Same end. It's the same end. If you don't know who you are, you don't know what you have. If you don't know what you have, you got all the money waiting for you, all the health waiting for you, all the success waiting for you, all the peace waiting for you. You have everything waiting for you, and you have no access to it because you're not aware of it. You're not missing anything. You're not lacking anything. There's nothing separate from you. There's nothing over there. Prosperity isn't over there. Health isn't over there. It's not something you got to get binoculars out for. But that's what you do when you think it's outside of you. This is where we get lost. My goal is to give you the information that sets you free, meaning that brings you back to the awareness of who you really are. Once you know who you are and you start acting like it, the training wheels come off. You're like, man, why do I have these little plastic raggedy things? And I got these real tires. I can't even go fast on this bike with these training wheels on here. You'll be taking them things off. You'll be slamming the bike trying to get them things off quick. You'll be like, man, I got somewhere to go. I've been wasting time. I could have been at the park 5 minutes ago. His little plastic wheels holding the brother down. Who thinks it's a good Who thinks it's a good idea to drive under the influence? Who thinks it's a good idea?
A fool.
Really? Oh, you guys do know this is court, right? You do know everything you say can and will be held against you, right? You know I'm taping everything.
Well, under the influence of what?
Oh, that's a great question. But let's say it's under the influence of things we shouldn't be under the influence of when we're driving, whatever it may be. Right? You know, sometimes you have a prescription and they say, hey, don't operate heavy machinery. Maybe you got your wisdom teeth pulled out. So it doesn't mean you have the craziest, that is something crazy or ridiculous. It just may be you're under the influence of something. You had your wisdom teeth pulled out and they gave you some strong medication, right? To make sure you're feeling okay as it heals, right? But they still tell you don't drive a car, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, let's look at some influences we're under.
Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Everyone buckle up.
Right. Here we go. Who's ever heard of, you can just say, you can just say yes, but I don't want to hear no stupid quietness because don't get quiet now.
Oh, here we go.
Everybody's afraid of something. All right, great. Who's heard of fear? Who's heard of that one?
All of us.
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Who's heard of
Absolutely.
Who's heard of anxiety?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have.
Who's heard of depression?
it's out there.
Me.
Okay. Who's heard of cancer?
Yeah.
I have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we say we shouldn't be driving under the influence. Well, how do we live under these influences?
Can you repeat that, please?
How do we live under the influence of fear? Everybody's afraid of something. Everybody drinks and drives.
Not everybody.
Oh, but everybody's afraid of something.
Not
Wait,
everybody.
am I the only one that's ever heard that?
Oh, no.
Okay, so that is a common theme.
Yes. Some even think it's natural.
Okay,
It's a mindset to be drunk, you can be under the influence of thinking that that's actually true.
it is actually true if you make it true. God is the only thing that makes anything true. The only thing that creates anything is I am. Everything is just an option. And when you choose it, that's when it becomes animated. If you're standing on the street and there's 1,000,000 people walk by and you don't say anything to them and they don't say anything to you, do they have an effect on your life?
No,
No. So then who does?
no one.
What?
No one.
What about your child? So then who has an effect on your life?
Who you allow.
Right. Who or what?
What?
What? Fear, what? Anxiety, what? Depression, what? Cancer, what? Now, how could all of these things come into existence?
You allowed it.
By what?
Believing in it,
Essentially,
participating in it.
it is a thought, however you came to it, that you became aware of being. It's not a person you saw that affects your life. It is the person that you interact with. It's the people you interact with in life that affect your life. We see 1,000 million people a day. We don't know their name. They don't know us. They don't know I'm a Sagittarius. They don't know that. But it's true. Because I am. See?
I
Right?
choose.
It doesn't matter until I have an interaction with someone. That is what affects your life. The thoughts that go across your mind don't affect your life. It's the ones that you identify with. It's the one that you now start having a relationship with. When you have a relationship with a thought produces what? Or is a reflection of what?
A belief.
An idea.
And what do ideas create?
Feelings.
Realities.
Okay.
Thoughts create actions.
Yeah,
Inspire action.
they lead to things. Things happening, things being done, all those things. That's what that. So now, did you think of I have cancer? No. But you had a thought that was in the neighborhood that says, oh, okay, this will be the proper physical expression of that thing. When you live in a good neighborhood, that means the whole neighborhood is good, let's say. So it doesn't mean one house has to look the same as the next. You're in the neighborhood. So that means you're having the same experience as everyone else in that neighborhood. If it's raining, everybody's getting rained on. If it's sunny for everyone. It's not a specific address of one house that's on this street that makes the neighborhood good. It's the neighborhood. So you have thoughts that put you in the neighborhood where this can now happen to you. See, everything is already happening. It's not a matter of whether things are happening or not. It's a matter of whether things are happening to you or not. Last week, I was at home in Southern California. I drove all the way back, and about 15 minutes away from home here, it started raining. I literally was in the rain, looking in my rearview mirror, and it was blue sky. I'd been in that blue sky for over 4 hours. I was literally now in the rain about 15 minutes from the house. So now it's raining. But whether I was there or not, if I wasn't there yet, would it still be raining?
Yeah.
Yes. So then what does the rain have to do with me?
You drove into it.
So then what does cancer have to do with me?
You,
You drove into it.
yeah.
It exists for everyone it exists for. Just like the rain, it was raining because that's where it was. And the only reason I was there was because of who I was being. I was being the person going this place. And going this place, in this place, there's rain. Because of who I'm being is what I'm experiencing. If I wasn't being the person that went home that day, I wouldn't have experienced that. The next day up here, it didn't rain. If I went home a day later, I would not experience that. But if I went home a day later, I would not have been being who I was being that made me leave that day. So everything is already happening. That's why I tell you, you're not stopping anything. You just become the person that doesn't have it by being quiet versus being loud. Things aren't happening because things aren't happening just to you in the sense of like it's not raining. It's only raining on the people who are in this area. All the people in this area decided they wanted to live there in one way or another. They decided they wanted to live there. This is not about blame. This is not about guilt. This is about understanding how the law works. I'm not driving home and thinking, damn, God, I messed up. How'd I get in rain? It was raining. I drove into it. It was raining before I got there. That had nothing to do with me. What had to do with me was who I was being. Who I was being put me in the rain because that's where I was going. I put myself there. It didn't mean it's not a good or bad thing. I just have the experiences I have because of who I'm being. This is about who you're being. Your thoughts, not all the ones you have that we think 70 to 80,000 of them a day, they say. It's not the thoughts you have, it's the ones you entertain. That is what your physical reality is showing you. It's the physical expression of the thoughts you're entertaining. The thought you're entertaining is who you are being. That's who you're being. You can change that at any time. But as long as that's who you're being, you're going to be driving through this rain. Because that's who I was being. Right behind me, I literally drove for like 5 or 10 minutes and I kept looking in the rearview mirror and I could still see the blue sky. And I was just like, man. So 2 things are happening at once. Your wealth and your poverty are happening at the same time. Your ease and your struggle are happening at the same time. But you're only experiencing one based on who you're being. Neither one of them are about you. They are, has anybody ever heard the statement, creation is finished? Anybody ever heard that?
Yes, I have.
Is anybody, are you the only one on the call? Anybody else?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Creation is finished. The rain was raining. They didn't have anything to do with me. But I drove through it because of who I was being. Creation is finished. The sun was there. I was being where I was, and so I was in sun. And then as I continued along my journey of who I was being, that got me to the rain. Both things are happening at the same time. And neither one of them are because of you, but you get to experience it. Why? Because of who you're being. They're not happening because of you. They have to be available for everyone to whom the rain is relevant to. All of these things don't have to happen to you, but they happen to you because they're relevant to you. They're physical expressions of your awareness, of what you are thinking, that you are not the thoughts, what you're thinking, the ones that you are holding on to, the ones that you are holding on to believing, the ones that you are assuming, the ones that you think are true. However you got that thought. Maybe your parents told it to you. Maybe your cousin told it to you. Maybe your husband or your wife told it to you. Maybe the world told it to you. Oh, everybody's scared of something. Oh, fear makes you do this. Oh, fail fast. Oh, we looked at that 2 weeks ago, right? My tree never ceases to bear fruit. You never fail. So which one is it? The book says you never fail, and people tell you fail fast. Which one is it? There's rain and there's sun. Which one you want? You can't have both. You won't be in both at the same time. You'll be in one or the other. But both are available to you right now. Your success or lack of is available to you right now. You're in one or the other based on your awareness. You cannot change it. I didn't change the rain in that sense. I didn't change the rain. I just became the person where, because of who I was being, I rolled through a place that had rain in it. Now, because of who I was being, I was going where I wanted to go, so the rain didn't bother me. But it still rained. On someone else, it would bother them. I was having this conversation with my mom the other day, and we were talking about a property. And so we went to, we would go see some properties, and in some properties, she would leave the lights on. I'm like, Mom, I walk into it, I'm like, Mom, why are we leaving the lights on these properties and the radio on or this? And she's like, oh, I just want somebody to think, that somebody's home. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm thinking it's a waste of money, right? But she thinks it's something else. So when we walk in the door, we're both looking at light. We both hear the same thing, but what it means to us is something different. She thinks it's for this. I think it's for that. But we're both looking at the same thing. So it's not what's happening is actually neutral. When you understand in your highest mind, what's happening is actually neutral. How you feel by it or how it affects you is relevant to you.
So it's perception, right?
And your perception is because of who you're being, who you're aware of being. You perceive things based on who you're aware of being. If all of us went to the store and got some chicken thighs, it was 4th of July. How many different forms, how many different ways do you think those chicken thighs would taste if everybody cooked one?
Different, every single one.
Yes, they would all taste different.
How? It's the same chicken.
I
But
use
it's different
adobo.
taste buds.
So then the chicken is what?
Perception.
The chicken is
Like the foundation.
the chicken is what?
It's neutral.
It's neutral. Cancer is neutral.
Mm.
You just got it. It's your seasoning because of how you're cooking. It's the only way you got it. Depression, anxiety, it's the only way you get it. That's not a bad thing. That's not a blame thing. It's not a guilt thing. I'm giving you the answer so that you can fix anything that you're involved with that you didn't mean to. Let's just say you didn't mean to get involved with it, but you have to understand the law is no respecter of persons. You don't mean to walk out the street without looking. Does that stop something?
Mm-mm.
Does that ever stop that for anything?
Mm-mm.
No, what you mean. So you're not a bad person. This isn't about guilt or shame or blame, but you have to understand how this works. Your life, what you call reality, is a physical expression of reality. This is reality. You are reality. Awareness is reality. That is what is guiding you to the physical experiences you're having. Creation is finished. You're not creating anything new. There's nothing new happening. Nothing. Everything is already available. But based on who you're being, your level of awareness, there's things you see, there's things you don't. There's things experienced, there's things you don't. Some people got COVID, some people didn't. Some people are poor, some people are rich. It's the same chicken. It's the same body. Your reality is like your seasoning, is how you're cooking the chicken, how you're living your life. We're all starting with the same chicken. So then the chicken isn't just miraculously different. There is no chicken so good that it cooks itself. Has anybody ever seen? I don't cook. I can't cook. Has that ever happened?
No.
I mean, so so then nothing happens on its own. Everything is a reflection of the happening, something being done to this thing. Your life doesn't just happen on its own. It's a reflection of something happening to it. It's being acted upon. Your life is being acted upon. It's a physical reflection of the actor, your awareness. Who are you? Who do you believe you are? That is the chef cooking this chicken called life. That is your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions are the seasoning that you're cooking with. And it starts to smell good or smell bad, taste good or taste bad. But you're the chef. You're the cook. No matter who you blame. And if you're even right, does that change the fact that it's your life? Hello?
No, it's our lives.
No.
No. So why do we spend so much time on it?
Mm.
Was him, was them. Yeah, that's cool. They did. They did what they did. It's your life. How long are you going to complain about it before you make a different choice?
Mm.
Before you become aware, your choice is all you have. As Latoya, it's all you have. As Desiree, it's all you have. All you have is your choice. All you have is the ability to choose what it is you want now. Everybody wants to know what accountability is. Everybody throws it around, and most people don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Accountability, I'm going to give you my perfect definition. Accountability means what now? What now? You're where you are right now today. Forget how you got there, why you got there. What now? Where do you want to go from here today? You're in a new moment, a new second. Has anybody ever been here before?
No.
So then how do you know you can't be from here?
I don't get it. What do you mean?
If you've never been, let's just say you went to a new country.
Mm-hmm.
Where can't you go? Where do you know?
No.
If
If I'm in a new country,
if we all were blindfolded and were dropped off in a new country,
we wouldn't know.
don't know anything about it. Where can't you go?
We don't know where we can't go.
We
don't know where we can't go.
So then who's deciding?
I am.
Okay. So if you have a new second and this is a new country, you've never been here before. So who's deciding what you can do or can't do with it?
Me, I am.
So then why are we complaining, spending all our time with this new second, complaining about the old seconds? Why do we do that? Oh, it's a new second. You're brand new. This is a new country. Do you know how many people didn't reach this second? There's a lot of people who didn't reach this second. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means just because you had the last one doesn't mean you're going to get the next one. So that means if you got this one, then this one has to be good enough to do something with it.
So basically what you're saying is, what I'm hearing you're saying is that every second we have, it's basically an opportunity for us to change how we see things, how we think about it, and then do something about it.
And the doing is changing. What you just said, the doing is, what am I telling myself in this second about anything? And what do I want to tell myself? I got this chicken from the store. If I know you don't like cheese. If I got some chicken from the store and just lathered it up in cheese and then told you something stupid as practice gratitude.
Mm. No, thank you.
No, but practice gratitude. You need to be grateful.
You guys can tell that he don't cook putting cheese on a chicken.
I'm just saying, because you know what, I'll be talking to you later. All right? Right? Why? Every second, yes, to your point, every second is a new second. Every second is a new day. It's a new life. It's a new opportunity. Every single second. You can choose. You can use your free will. How many of us, when we were 8, couldn't wait to be grown? And meaning couldn't wait to be able to make our own decisions.
Right.
Not literally grown, but make our own decisions. Did it feel good when you go buy a Slurpee? Your parents give you some money, you could buy a Slurpee, and you don't have to ask first? Did it feel good when you could go to the party with your friends and your parents didn't have to drive you or pick you up? Didn't it feel good? It doesn't mean you wanted to be 40 years old. It just meant that you wanted to be able to exercise some freedom. Now we have all this freedom, and now all of a sudden we don't want it. Now all of a sudden it's not my fault. Now all of a sudden he did it, she did it, they did it. Now all of a sudden we don't want the freedom now. Now all of a sudden we don't want the choice or the ability to choose. But you're going to get. This is all you're ever going to get. You have as awareness. Oh, your awareness, I am. That's why you always say I am first. Not only in word, but if nothing else, just in your awareness. You're aware of being something. That's I am. Just your awareness is I am. I say it to you all the time. Della, when you were 3 weeks old, did you know you were a boy?
No.
Did you know you were Black?
No.
Did you know where you were?
No.
Did that stop you from crying?
No.
Smiling?
No.
Did it stop you from eating?
No.
So all the things we give value to, I'm Black. I'm a strong Black woman. I'm a strong Black man. I'm a this, I'm that. You didn't know, what does that got to do with you eating, drinking, crying, whining, going to the bathroom? What does that have to do with any of those things when you were doing it before you knew you were any of those things? What does that have to do with it? Does that have to do anything with it? Huh?
Oh, no.
No. So then why do we value it so much? Why do we value something we didn't even know we were for God knows how long until somebody told you you were Black? You didn't know you were Black. That didn't stop you from living, did it? That didn't stop you from being happy, did it? Why all the things that we have attached ourselves onto? I'm a woman, I'm Black, I'm racist, I'm sexist, I'm a Democrat. All these things you picked up along the way have nothing to do with whether you're alive or not. And everything that does, your awareness of being, you spend no time on. You know nothing about. I voted, but you can't think. What do you think you voted for? I voted, but I can't keep my health together. What do you think you're voting for? Voting out of what? From where? From what state of being are you voting for? And how do you think you're a better voter than you are better with this or better with that? How do you think that? How do you think that? Based on what? Anybody ever smell some spoiled milk?
Sour.
Okay.
Yuck.
Which part of that milk do you want to drink?
None. That's
None.
like cheese.
None.
No, but you're not what you want to be, but you're a strong Black woman. Which part of that, but you're not what you want to be, which part of that you want to drink? What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't even understand why we give all this meaning to something that can't help you do nothing. Is that stopping bullets? Because if it is, sign me up. I identify, sign me up.
Stop hating.
Yeah, I got stupid. It's a waste of time. Yes, we're having a physical experience and we have a body and we should love it because you know who you are. Just like I was telling LaToya, you love your kids because you know that you are a parent and because you know who you are and that's who you want to be. You love your kids because you know who you are. You love your humanity. You love your human experience. You take care of your body. You be proud in being Black or white or a man or a woman or Puerto Rican or whatever. You take pride in that, not because it's you, but because it's yours. Don't you wash your car? Does that make it you? But if you're in your right mind, why would you roll down the street in a dirty car more than you had to or longer than you have to? We're not saying it got dirty yesterday and you wash it. I'm saying in general, why would you not take care of this thing you own? But taking care of this thing you own doesn't make it you. But it makes a better experience with this thing that you have to have an experience with. We give power to all the things that are just experience and not the experiencer, not the authority. You are, I am. You're not all these other things. Those are just experiences. Those are things that you just picked up along the way. But you're trying to get them to do something for you. How can they do something for you when you created them? How is your mind going to help you if you don't know how to use it?
If you don't know how to use it, how is that going to help you?
Isn't that what I said? Am I? How is it going to help you? Just think positively. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? Hey, I got some cheese on that chicken. I just want you to think positive about it. You know what thinking positively is? It is thinking in your favor. I'm not putting cheese on this chicken. That's thinking positively.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that choice. Thinking positively is I'm sick and broke. All right, great. Thinking positively now is I am rich and healthy. That's thinking positively. It means you're thinking properly. You're thinking in your favor. It means you are thinking the thoughts that are a reflection of your physical embodiment. This is what I choose to think because this thought reflects the physical thing I want. That is positive thinking, thinking in your favor. But there is no such thing as positive thinking. It's just thinking. 2 + 2 is 4. Has any teacher ever put on there, this is a positive answer? Anybody have that on their paper? Did anybody ever see that?
No.
It's just correct. That's all it is. We're making things, we're confusing things. We're under the influence of all kinds of things. We're literally living under the influence. We shouldn't drive. Driving is how long are you going to drive? Okay, you drive, let's say you drive for 3 days straight. Okay, great. After a while, you can't keep driving forever. You got to run out of gas, run out of battery, or run out of energy for your own self. So you got to pull it over. So driving under the influence, we wouldn't do it. And you can only do it for so long. We're living under the influence far longer than we could drive a car. And we wouldn't do that for a couple hours or a couple minutes. We wouldn't even get in the car. And we're literally living under the influence. Because when we say driving under the influence, nobody ever thinks it's a good thing. So I'm using it in the same context. If we're living under the influence, I'm using it right now as that. Fear, anxiety, depression, worry, stress, doubt, failure, those are influences that you're living under. Why do you think you feel the way you feel? Why do you think your body looks and feels the way it looks? Why do you think you're sick all the time? Why do you think you're mad all the time? Why do you think you're stressed all the time? Why do you think you're broke all the time? Why do you think your hair falls out? Why do you think involuntarily? Why do you think all these things happen? Your awareness, you have accepted these things as truths, so you embody them. You're essentially saying, let there be. When you agree with fear, everybody's afraid of something. Yeah, girl, you're right. You know what you just said? Let there be fear in my life. Well, good. Anybody ever heard this one? You better stop crying before I give you something to cry about. Anybody ever heard that one?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Well, you better stop being afraid before you get something to be afraid about.
It was a setup, y'all.
Yeah. Right? I want you to understand it in terms you understand it. When somebody gets to you and says, you know what, Desiree, everybody's afraid of something. And you're like, yeah, girl, you're right, because we're only human. Okay. All right on. Well, don't worry. Fear is coming. And it's not coming from somewhere else. You just turned it on. And fear creates whatever fear creates for you, because it's in you. So it's your own personal, customized. It's like when I'm having a one-on-one. You and fear got a one-on-one, and it's going to be talking to you about you. So it's going to make sure you nice and good and afraid. Whatever that is for you, don't worry. Don't worry. I got it perfectly. Oh, well, I'm just kind of depressed right now. Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that. That's your choice. Whether you make it in ignorance, whether you drive forward or backward, the car is moving. Whether you make this choice in ignorance or whether you just feel like that's okay. But the point is, you don't get to pick what fear reflects. And your human mind doesn't know what that's going to be. But your awareness does. Oh, okay, fear. Don't worry. This is going to be, you're going to have a haunted house in your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
Depressed, don't worry. I'm going to give you something to be so depressed about, but trust me, because guess what? Be you perfect. If the book is telling you to be you perfect, if awareness is telling you to be perfect, what do you think awareness is?
Perfecto.
So if awareness,
Perfection.
if awareness is perfect and you say, I am anxious, what do you think is happening?
You're going to be perfectly anxious.
Yeah, anxiety, yeah.
Because awareness is aware of being anxious and awareness is perfect. So awareness is perfectly anxious. So now the child, Desiree, or the child, Veronica, the child, Della, experiences anxiety perfectly from awareness. So it's going to be perfect. You're going to be perfectly anxious. You're going to have so many physical things in your world that reflect anxiety that you literally, it's perfect. Isn't that crazy how you don't need any medicine to be anxious, but you need it to fix it?
Hmm.
I just thought about that right now. You know what? I'm just on fire. I'm just on fire. You need no medicine to be anxious, but you need medicine to fix it. Now, everybody, like, did anybody buy anxiety? Because Amazon sells a lot of things now. Did anybody buy it?
That was a marker
Not
drop.
that I know of.
Huh?
Amazon,
Not that I
maybe.
know of.
Oh, so nobody bought anxiety. Well, then how did you get it?
Airborne.
Oh, well, then why did you accept it?
They claimed it.
Exactly.
So watch this. So in order for you to get anxiety, you had to do what?
Become aware.
Well, what did LaToya say?
They claimed it.
They claimed
Made a choice. Yeah.
you became aware. And claiming doesn't mean you literally verbally said, I want to be anxious. No, no, no. You become aware of being it. You're like, oh God, this makes me anxious. Oh God, you see that bill, and then your mind starts going. And then you're like, oh, and it starts going.
And you say, come in and have a seat and stay a while.
Stay a while. Anxiety is like the worst house guest ever. It ain't leaving. It doesn't get better. It's not going to get up and start cleaning the dishes all of a sudden. It's going to lay around there and keep staying until you put it out. So if you had to accept it to get it, what do you have to do to get rid of it?
Do the opposite. Accept
Not
the
accept it.
opposite.
Just
Reject it.
stop accepting it, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Change your mind.
but say it again.
I said change your mind.
Change your mind. You kicked anxiety out. What you got now? Now you don't have it. What do you have instead?
Peace.
Do you? No, you didn't say that. You just kicked anxiety out. What do you have? If you're in the house and who's home?
Say that again.
If you're in the house by yourself and you leave, who's home?
Nobody.
No one.
No one.
Okay, so just because you kick something out, does that mean you have something else?
Only if you choose it.
Did you choose it? Are we choosing?
No.
It seems like the only thing we're choosing is anxiety and fear, stress, depression. And we're living under the influence of things because we're not choosing something else. We have chosen, we have accepted. Choice doesn't mean that you're consciously doing things, but it means you are allowing and accepting things a lot of times because you're unconscious. You're not aware. You're not living with awareness consciously. You're not thinking about what you're listening to. You're not thinking about what you're believing. You're not thinking about what you're accepting. You're not thinking about what you're allowing. You're not thinking about what you're believing. You're not thinking about what you're telling yourself. You're not thinking about when you look at your bill and you're like, oh my God. You're not thinking about what you're letting crank up in your mind. The thought is okay. Do you align yourself with that thought? Do you say, oh, well, do you, if you do that, now you've accepted, you're accepting it. You're saying that this could be true for me. This thought of fear could be true for me. I have a reason to be afraid.
Can you show us what it looks like to do the opposite, I guess, for someone who's here, like our new folks that haven't been here?
Mhm.
What does it look like if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling
Wonderful.
fear?
So all right, perfect. So what is anxiety? What is fear? What is depression? What are those things? So let's just understand what they are first. What are they?
Mindset choices, lifestyle choices.
That's the outcome. What are they?
States of mind.
Yes, they are thoughts that you can have in a state of mind, right? There is no New York City in California because I'm not in that state of mind. So that city cannot be present here. So certain things can't be present in when you have established a mindset, a way of thinking. Okay. So first of all, if you have any fear, anxiety, depression, meaning these are just thoughts, but they are the outcome of thoughts that you keep thinking. It is a thought that you keep thinking every day. You keep thinking every time a situation comes up. Have you ever noticed how you may be doing this or this, and then and you're feeling a certain way, then you see something and you're like, oh shoot, oh, and how when you see something, it makes you have a different thought that you weren't thinking 5 seconds before, 10 seconds before. But how you thought about what you saw is based on your mindset. It is based on the way you think consistently, right? So what I'm first saying to you is number one, everything starts with a thought. Everything. And whatever you think most often, repeatedly, consistently as a lifestyle, that becomes physically expressed in your world. Everything starts with an idea. What do you think a movie projector is? What do you think the jeans you have on are? Somebody had to have an idea to produce that thing. And the idea they have, didn't they have to keep the idea until the gene or the thing or the projector was made? Didn't they have to keep that to see it all the way through? Does that make sense?
Mm,
Huh?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
So if you have a thought that makes you uncomfortable, some thoughts may cause fear. Some thoughts may cause anger. Some thoughts may cause depression. But the point is, when you get to that point, in order to get to that point, the thought has to be accepted and you have to keep acting on it for it to become physical, for it to become first a physical reflection in your body and then expressed outwardly. You have to keep thinking this thought long enough to be depressed. You have to be thinking this thought long enough to be angry. You have to think this thought long enough to be anxious. It doesn't mean it takes a long time to get there. It just depends on what the thought is. But the point is, just the thought itself, if you don't step into it, it has no effect. Thoughts don't have effect just in and of themselves. The thoughts that you embody or identify with do. So first and foremost is number one, the reason why most of us have a hard time with these things is because we're dry when it happens. Meaning our lifestyle, we don't live in a way where we are used to being aware of what we think and choosing to think what we want. We live in a way that we feel like victims or like we're just going with the flow and any thought thinking any way. We don't really think about what we're accepting. We're not used to it. So then when something comes and we try to do this, it seems hard and overwhelming because it's not a pattern. It's not a lifestyle. We're not used to not controlling our thoughts, choosing them. You don't control anything, you just choose it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If you go in the grocery store and you don't pick apples, you don't tell everybody to throw the apples out. It's just not for you. You're not controlling what else is sold there. You just don't identify with it, have the experience. So number one, to back up a little bit, how do you do this? Number one, you start establishing a way of thinking. What is it I want to think about my life overall? What is it I think about myself? What do I want to think about my experiences specifically or particularly? What do I want? Let me start sitting down and choosing what money is to me. Is it hard? Is it easy? Do I have a lot? Do I have a little? Do I live paycheck to paycheck? What do I think about money? What do I think about health? We've never really sat down and considered these things until now it's right in front of your face. And then it becomes hard. Oh, you know what? Coach told me to think positively. How? This bill is right in front of your face and it's due in 30 minutes. It's for most people, it just feels overwhelming. The ability to do it is always there, but most people don't know how to access it because they don't have the experience. They're not used to thinking the way they want to think. Now they have to do it on the clock. And desperate. It's hard. So number one, start sitting down in every area of your life and thinking about what is it I want to think about myself, about my life, and each area of my life. What am I going to start choosing to tell myself? What choices am I going to start making? What choice am I going to start making? In every area of my life, what am I going to start telling myself? Because your life is about your mindset. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. When you keep telling yourself this or telling yourself that, that's how you got to depression. You kept telling yourself something. That's how you got to anxiety. You kept telling yourself something. That's how you got to fear. You kept telling yourself something. Right? That's how you get there. So that's number one, is establishing a pattern of thought. This is how I'm going to think and what I want to think about these areas of life. And I'm going to keep telling myself this. This is not positive thinking. This is creating, meaning I'm selecting the physical expression I have by choosing the thought that represents that to me. That's number one. Start with that. Number two, in a moment, you get a bill and it's $319 and you have $1.19. In that moment, what do you have?
Not enough.
A shortage.
Who? Who has a shortage? Who has not enough?
Your human mind.
Oh, but you didn't say that. That's my point. And I know, and I don't mean it literally right now, but that's my point. Whoever you think you are is why you feel that way. Whoever you're believing yourself to be is why you see it that way. Does anybody remember the story when Jesus was when Jesus' disciple was out in the world and the tax collector said, hey, does your master pay taxes? He said, yeah. He comes home and Jesus talks to him for a minute and he says, hey, go get the goldfish out of the water, take the coin out and pay it for me or for you and for you. Does anybody remember that story?
Yep.
So in that moment, when it was time for Jesus to pay the taxes, what did it do?
Created a way or gave him direction.
So then where did the direction come from?
I am.
If you're Karen, you are screwed. When that bill comes, you ain't got it, you are done. It's a wrap. Why do you think you got anxiety? Because you can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. Like you can't help you. I am helps you. So that higher mind says, oh, I and my Father are one. So since I know that all that I have is my Father's and all that my Father has is mine, then that means if my Father is rich and got all the money, then I got to have all the money. So since I know who I am, I know where it is. That Christ mind said, hey, go into the ocean. It means infinite possibilities. That's what Mary, the Virgin Mary, means, infinite possibilities. Go into the ocean and go get this fish that has a gold coin in it, the first fish, and pull it out. It means when you get that bill, when it's time to pay that tax, when something comes to you, you have to figure out, you have to know who you are. And that's why my first point was, if you don't know who you are before you get that bill, you think it's going to change when you get it? It's only going to exacerbate who you think you are or not. And if you think you are just Karen, you're going to be like, oh, God, it's over. It's a wrap. It's over. I ain't got it. It's over. If you know I am Karen, then Karen's like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it, because I am got it. And I am and I are one. So, okay, this bill is paid. I'm telling myself this bill is paid. You're telling yourself it isn't. Why can't you tell yourself it is? In your humanity, you think you can't, but that's because humanity is created. It's not creative. You think you can't say something different because you don't see it.
I'm not sure if you noticed. I know Della had his hand up.
Ah, okay. Right? Yes, Della.
You just kind of answered it. But my question was, what if like you have a pattern of thought, right? But then you experiencing the continuous feedback of what you've already been experiencing.
Mhm.
It's like, how do you deal with that
Okay,
discrepancy?
watch this. Remember when I said my mom and I were going to those places because my family has property, and some places she'll leave the light on, the radio on, right?
Um,
And what did I say about the light in the radio? What was the point of that story?
well, to her, it's to make sure that people know that think that there's somebody there, but to you, it's like it's a waste of money.
So then,
So,
whatever you talk about continuous feedback, who's looking at it? Is it the you don't want to be or the you do want to be?
uh,
So my point is, a lot of times we think we're changing, but we're not. But we can tell we're not because we keep thinking the same thing, because we think that when we see something, it means the same thing. But it's not that it means the same thing. It's that it means the same thing to you because you're the same. You haven't changed, but you haven't. I don't mean you, but I mean everybody. You haven't
mm,
changed because you're waiting for something on the outside to change before you do. But the outside's a reflection of you. So if you don't change, it can't change. And it changing physically is not only the thing that changes first. Most of the time, that really changes first is what you think about it now. Once my mom told me that, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. So once we started going around to the other properties, it's like, oh, okay. Like I kind of after a while got used to it. It's like, oh, this one she doesn't have it. Oh, this one she does have it for whatever reason. But I stopped seeing it as a waste of money. I didn't stop seeing what I saw. I didn't stop hearing what I heard, but its relevance to me, what it meant to me changed because I changed. So that means you can't be seeing the same thing, or you can't be seeing the same thing the same way when you change. It's not possible. It's not possible. But a lot of times when we say, I want to pay this bill, like Veronica was asking me, what do you do in this moment? All right. I look at this bill and I say, you know what? All right. What do I want? What is my choice? I choose to pay my bill. I choose for this bill to be paid. When I say that, I have no proof of how that's going to happen. But I ask people this all the time. Della, what time is it where you are?
11:39.
11:39. At 11:46, what are you going to be doing?
Probably still be here on this call.
Well, why did you say probably?
Oh, I was just, I don't know. I just use this probably.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
All you're doing is assuming. You're still going to be in this call, but it means you are willing to assume something without proof.
Mm,
So if you don't have proof that you're going to be here at 11:46, why do you need proof to say that this bill is paid? What are you going to base it on? You can't. There's nothing you can show to any of us that is inevitable proof that you're going to be here at 11:46. You may believe with your whole heart that you are, and that makes sense. But that's my point. We're always assuming. But we're assuming and believing something based on who we're being. So
right.
based on who you're being, you're saying, I like being here. I want to be here. This is cool, so to speak. So I'm assuming, so I'm going to stay. But that's just an assumption. You can't prove it.
Mm.
So then when you're looking at that bill, why can't you assume it's paid? You don't have any more proof that it can't be than you are going to be here at 11:46. The point is we're assuming all the time, but we get used to assuming certain things and acting like we can't assume the same thing over here. You have no proof over here, so why do you need proof over here? So when you get that bill, Veronica, for example, to answer your point, go back to it. When you get a bill, or when your health looks strange, or whatever else it is, when you're in a situation and it's not the way you want it to be, in that moment, you have a choice. I have this bill, my bank account, I don't see it. Okay, from this moment, from this point where I am, I have a choice. I can tell myself something that I can't prove, but I, Della, who's talking, just need to say it's not my job to prove. It is my awareness of being's job to prove that whatever I say is true is true. My awareness of being has the ways and means that I and my humanity don't. So if I only rely on myself, I stress, I worry, I fear. If I rely on my awareness of being, how do I do that? By identifying myself with that. I have the money. I am has the money. The I am says, we got the money. Keep the party going. Here it is. You have no human way to know how that's going to happen. But that's because it's not your job. Your job is to choose. Your awareness of being powers your choice. That's why when you say I'm afraid, when you say I'm worried, when you say I'm anxious, when you say I'm depressed, we're not talking semantics. We're not talking about positive thinking. We're talking about power. You're a kid playing with matches and you're going to burn your house down because you're not aware of what this match can do. We're not aware of what our awareness can do. Because in the immaturity or lack of information, in the ignorance of our mind, we have this superpower called I am, which is who we are. You're not Desiree. You are I am believing itself to be Desiree. It's the only reason Desiree is alive. Desiree is a physical experience of awareness. So whatever Desiree wants to be in this physical form, she now identifies herself as I am that. And I am says we are. Let's do it. Desiree doesn't have to make that happen. That's I am's job. Desiree has to choose. Della has to choose. When you get a bill, you have a choice. And you make most often the choices you're used to making. You repeat them. That's what your human mind does. It repeats it. Man, I remember last time I couldn't afford it. So then the first thing you see a bill, you're like, oh, I can't afford it. Your human mind predicts the future based on the past. It doesn't do anything new. Your human mind doesn't think new things. It only thinks experiences it's already having or already had. Your awareness of being drops in new things.
So is this why repeating, I should say, affirmations, or when you listen to like these, like I like to listen to those YouTubes with affirming music, and then I find myself saying what I repeat. That's why it's a tool to basically affirm what you want.
It is a tool when you play, what if like we've all been young, we don't have to tell anybody, but we've all been, 22, 23 at the club. We've all been there pretty much. What is a tool? Why do we go there? What is the tool that gets us all to go there first? We go there for a bunch of different, but what's the tool that draws us in there?
Desire?
Yes. Yes. But what is the tool that they use there?
Your ID.
No, the tool that they use to get you to come there.
Liquor, a DJ?
Okay. Generally,
sex?
Liquor you could get on your own. Why are you going there?
To dance.
Okay. So what makes you dance?
Music.
Music.
The vibe.
Music. The vibe. Music. The vibe. What you're saying to yourself is the music, it's the vibe. It's what gets your attention. What you're saying to yourself, whether you want an affirmation is not how much you say something. It's the fact that every time you say something about this thing, you say the same thing. You keep coming back to the same thing. Your address is an affirmation. Your name is an affirmation. You keep coming back to it. So you know yourself to be it. Right? So when you're affirming, so to speak, you're simply just saying you're using it as a tool to get your attention, to identify yourself as that. They use music to get your attention. It's a tool. Couldn't you dance without it? Yeah, but would anybody be dancing without it? Probably.
I do it all the time.
Say it again.
I said I do it all the time.
Yeah, right? So the point is, the point is that tools are used to get your attention. Affirmation is just a tool. Journaling is just a tool. Scripting is just a tool. They're just tools to get your attention. But as you get better at it, and as you know who you are, you realize those are just training wheels too. Because when you realize I am, you say something once and that's enough for you. It doesn't matter. You can say it because you like hearing it. There's nothing wrong with that. But you realize, like, I'm just saying it because I enjoy it. But I don't need to say it a bunch of times because there's a difference between if I think I am, if I say I am rich, what is that?
A choice, a mindset, an awareness.
A mindset. Okay. That is true.
An awareness.
An awareness. That is true. So if it's a choice and a mindset and awareness, then what is it? What is rich?
Your awareness.
That's
State.
faith.
A choice.
Fate. A choice. Okay. So when people affirmations, I am rich. What is that? It's an affirmation. What is an affirmation in that context?
Money, 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 money.
Yeah. How are people using it? How do people use that? You have to realize not only what you're saying, but what you mean.
Mm.
Most people in physical form, all of us by name, right? Say, I am rich. What is that? What do people call that?
A desire?
Affirmation.
They call it an affirmation. Would we agree? Isn't that what people would say?
Yes.
Okay. So who is that an affirmation for?
Ourselves?
Who is that?
Monique.
Monique. Why is that?
Because Monique needs the reminder. I am already knows.
Correct. So then for Monique, it's a reminder, it's an affirmation. For I am who already knows, it is a what?
Reminder?
Oh, it's an awareness.
How? You forgot how your I am, you didn't forget.
Just you repeating it, right?
Okay, but for I am, what is it?
It's a purpose.
Okay.
A promise.
It is how you promise in yourself. It is a description of an attribute. When you say I am Natasha, I am a Black woman, is that an affirmation?
No.
No, it's a description of an attribute of I am Natasha. I'm describing myself in physical form, and I'm saying I'm a Black woman. I'm describing an attribute. I'm describing a characteristic of mine. So is that an affirmation?
No.
Is that something I'm trying to become?
No.
Is it something like I'm throwing a fishing rod out there on the ocean, trying to catch something and bring it to me?
No.
Because I'm not separate from, most people use it as Monique, like as she was saying. Most people are using it as Monique in the sense of, not the person, but in the idea, in the sense of they believe they're one thing and they're trying to be something else. They believe they're Monique and they're trying to be this. They believe they're Desiree and they're trying to be this. They believe they're one thing and they're trying to be something else because who they believe they are is incorrect from the beginning. Desiree, and I say that all the time because I haven't seen her in a while, so it's good to see her on here. But it is when you know your I am, when you say I am rich, you are literally just describing an attribute. You're describing a possession. You're describing something that is yours. So when Della says, I have something on my head, that's not an affirmation. He's describing something that is true and real to him that he knows is so. When we don't know who we are, we want to be rich, but we don't really believe we are, so we're hoping these affirmations make us. We're hoping if we listen to them long enough that maybe it'll sink in. We're hoping if we just, and it can. It can. You You can beat your mind into submission and it will submit. Faith does come by hearing. It will submit. Or you can just be still and know. You can just know. When you are, for all you mothers, when you're a mother and you gave birth, can anybody convince you you're not a mother after that?
No.
Okay. No, you're not.
Prove it.
So you're willing to fight for it then.
Oh, you know I'm always willing to fight.
Right? Oh, but for what?
Right.
Yeah, but for what? What are you fighting? What are we fighting for? We fight for fear all the time. Everybody has it, don't they? Don't everybody tell you, don't they fight for what they don't want? Yeah, but you just don't understand. Don't they tell you that? You just don't get it. Don't they tell you that?
Yes.
Meet me where I am. Why would I meet you where you are and you don't want to be there? Hey, Karen, they over at the club shooting. Come on by. Why would she want to meet me? Why would I want to meet you there? For what?
No, thank you.
Not at all.
Not at all.
In the other direction.
Hey, I'm depressed. You want to come over here and just sit with me? No. Do you want to come outside and walk down the street with me? Why should both of us be messed up? It's better to try to get both of us up. I'm already up. I'm not going down. So you have an opportunity, you have a choice to get up. Because if we both sit down, hell, there'll be two of us messed up. Who's going to save us now? If this stuff were so good and so right, just what if everybody had it? What if everybody had cancer? How would the world work? What if everybody was too depressed to get up and go to work? How would the world work? Like that. Have you ever asked yourself these questions? It's only working because you got it. If everybody got it, there would be nothing. How would we eat? Who's going to put gas in the gas stations? Who's going to farm? Who's going to make sure the cable doesn't go out? If everybody had what you had, do you think that would work out?
No.
So then why do we act like we should keep it or some kind of virtue? Why do we fight to keep it?
We don't know who we are.
So everything then becomes an affirmation. It becomes a hope. If I just say this enough, maybe. But when you know who you are, it's like, yeah, I'm this, or this is on my head, or this, or I make this much money, or I have this type of health. You're saying it from a place of knowing who you are. When you don't know who you are, you're saying it from a detached point, trying to arrive. When you know who you are, you say it from the place that has it. I am that person who has it. I'm here. I am is right now here, present. It's not tomorrow. It's not yesterday. I am right here now, present. It is not, you can say I'm going to be, just like you say I'm going to the store. You believe that. It's not the words. It's what do you mean? I'm going to the store. Like Della said, I'm going to be here at 11:46. He meant that. It's not that he could prove it, but there was no doubt in his mind that that was what he thought. It's the same thing. There's no doubt in his mind what he thought, what he meant by that. So you can say, I'm going to be well. I'm well. This thing is coming to me. If you mean you're saying like, this is absolute guaranteed. This is happening for me. This is real. Then fine. We're not talking about semantics. We're not talking about positive thinking. We're talking about understanding how it works. Your physical world is a reflection of your mindset, meaning the thoughts and feelings and beliefs that you are holding to be true consistently. It's not positive thinking. It's not negative thinking. It means if you have a life that you're not living overall or in any particular area, you have a thought or a belief or a way of thinking about this area that is incongruent with your desired experience. That's all it is. You put 2 + 2 and you put 5. You wrote the wrong thing down. Doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you deserve it. It doesn't mean that you're unworthy. It doesn't mean that God doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that God is judging you. It doesn't mean that God was testing you. God wasn't testing you. The third grade teacher was testing you. It was a test for elementary school. It wasn't a test for the kingdom of heaven. It was third grade elementary school. You just wrote down 5 instead of 4. But it will always be wrong until you put down 4. 4 is not just for you, Della. 4 is for everybody. Nobody gets to put 5 and be right. So when you look at that bill and you say, how do I make this information we're talking about today real? How do I do that? I look at this thing and say, okay, I see what I'm seeing right now. What do I want to see? I want to see this bill paid. Okay, how do I make this, how do I see this bill being paid? How do I do that? I start by changing what I'm telling myself, because I am awareness. I am the creator. I'm the one that makes everything happen. And I make it happen by what I'm aware of being currently. What I'm aware of being currently is unable to pay this bill. I now, as Della, Sparkle Bailey, all of us on this call in physical form, in our physical form, this is free will. We have a choice now. We have
8:57, by the way.
I'm sorry?
8:57, by the way.
In that moment, we have a choice. When it was dark in the beginning, and it was formless and faces on the earth, it was dark. And awareness said what?
Let there be light.
Let there be light. When awareness said, let there be light, before it said, let there be light, it was what?
Dark.
Dark.
So it was saying, let there be light from the
Dark.
dark. You're saying, I can pay this bill from the moment you're there, from that moment. You don't get to go to another moment. You don't get to pay the bill and then say, I can pay it. You don't get light and then say, let there be light. That's not how it works. You have to say, let there be from where you stand. That is your choice. If you are willing to make that choice and not turn back on that choice, not allow the darkness to make you say, well, I said it, what happened? Or I said it, I don't see it. If you say, I have said what I said, I meant what I said, and every time I think about what I said, I will say the same thing. It's light. This bill is paid. It's taken care of. Now, what are you going to do? You already did what you're going to do. You declared and decreed this is what it is. That awareness then will say, oh, okay, this is who we are. Let's make it so. It may come through, you may get, because every action you take is inspired. It's inspired by your awareness. Your awareness is always making you do what you're thinking you are. You get to choose who you are. You don't get to choose that you do it. So a lot of times when you think you can't help yourself, yeah, it's true. So why people can't get off of things. The guy who started AA, Bill Wilson, over almost 100 years ago, whenever it was, yeah, he just went from alcohol to LSD. He just switched. There's nothing external that's going to free you. Things can externally give you relief, but until you change your mind about who you are, you can't stop. Because it is a physical reflection of who you're being. And everybody's trying to stop the physical reflection. You go in there and you don't like what you see in the mirror, so you go ahead and put a blanket over the mirror now. Now it's the mirror's fault. Now it's the world's fault. It's just showing you who you are. So he just went from alcohol to LSD. He didn't fix anything. The 12-step dude didn't finish the 12-step. Created and didn't finish. 97% of rehab doesn't work. Doesn't mean don't go, but it means it's not at best. All it does is help you to start to look at you and change you. Until or unless you want to do that, doesn't matter where you go, it's not going to work. That's why 97% of it doesn't work for most people, because most people don't change. They want to change their habits. They want to change what's seen, but they don't want to change the person doing it, which is I am. They don't want to change their awareness of being. And until you change that, nothing is going to change. It doesn't matter whether it's your money, your health, your prosperity, your relationships. It doesn't matter what it is. It will never change until you change, because you are reality itself. Reality is not coming to you and at you, it's coming through you. Whatever you're aware of being, you express in physical form. That is, and humanity calls it reality, because humanity is like a child. It sits there waiting for something to be given to it. So when you think all you are is Monique, when you think all you are is the physical form, you're identifying yourself as a car. You're saying this is all you are. But what if the car doesn't get to make any choices? Our car doesn't, it sits in the snow, sits in the rain, drives forward, drives backward. It doesn't get to make any choices. And then all it does is you just drive it until it dies. You're just driving your body till it dies. Your body doesn't make any choices independent of you.
Della put in the chat, change your identity before change your habits.
Your habits are a physical reflection of your identity. How can you change your habits with the same identity? How do you do that? How do you pay a bill with no money? You're the person being, you're the being who has the money or the being who doesn't. If you're the being who doesn't, you have to change yourself into the being who does. And the money flows because you can't have money if you're the being who doesn't. And how do you know? Man, I'm always broke. I never have enough. I'm living check to check. You're expressing your awareness of something. We just don't catch it because we're always talking. We don't catch it because we're always thinking.
It's 9:01.
But we just don't know how to think because we never had to get a license to do it. We don't know how to use our words because we never had to get a license to do it. Babies out there babbling. A baby's obviously thinking they can go to the bathroom, can't they? They can walk around, can't they? They don't need a license to do that. You're born with those abilities. So you've been doing this from the beginning, but no one has taught us how to do it for most of us. We haven't been trained properly. Can you imagine if every 16-year-old got in a car when they were 16 and just started driving? No driver's training, uncle, mom, dad, nobody took you around a parking lot, just threw you the keys and was like, go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's how most of us in our mind is just demolition derby, just bumper cars going on because we've been at this thing with no training for most of us. And we've been able to use this faculty without any type of education or understanding. And that's what this is for. And the more educated, the more you understand who you are, you won't need to be here. I'm only reminding you every week you don't need to be here. But you do until you realize that, until you realize who you are, till you realize that you are driving the car, but you're not the car. That, yeah, while you're in it, you and the car are one, but you're not the car. The car stays outside. The car don't go to heaven. The car doesn't get to go in, doesn't get to go into the house. Car stays outside in the rain, the sleet, the snow, the heat, and everything else. So even though there's moments of time you're one with it, you're never it. You're one with your body, you're never it. You're one with your feelings, you're there, but they're not you. You control when you know who you are. You control your feelings, just like you control blinkers on a car. You control your emotions, just like you control the radio. You control your thoughts, just like you control the gas and the brakes. Who wants to get into a car and the person's like, and every time they drive, they're just like, I can't help it. Well, that's how people feel around you. Every time they get around you and you can't control yourself, and your answer is, I can't help it. Nobody wants to be around that. And if you can't help it, who's supposed to do it? You can, but you cannot if you just think you're little old this. If you think you're just a physical expression of yourself, the name you're given. You are I am, that you're in control of everything. And control means doesn't have to be force, it's just power. And meaning the power to choose. I have the ability to choose. Power is ability, authority. You have the ability and authority to choose every moment of every day of every second what it is you want. But you choose it from where you are. And if you think that you're only little human OU, you will not choose. You'll think you're stuck. You think anxiety's forever, high blood pressure forever, depression's forever. You can never get off, cancer's forever. You can never do this forever, or you got to die by it, or you don't. But if you don't choose and your choice then is to let someone else choose for you, that is a choice. If you let the doctor choose for you, if you let the medication choose for you, if you let the 12 steps choose for you, if you let everyone else choose for you, you don't do that at a restaurant. You don't do that at the mall. You don't do that when you're picking shoes or a purse or your hairdo. You don't let everybody else choose. So why is everybody else choosing how much money you can make, how happy you can be, what your business should be like, what your relationship should be like? Why are they choosing that? Why are you choosing which things they choose? When it's never the truth. You're I am every day, everywhere. You don't get to pick and choose. This class used to start at 5 o'clock when we first started, 5 o'clock our time, California time. Because of the original the first season, so to speak, a cast of characters, right? The class was from 8 to 10 their time. And we just backed up a little bit because more West Coast people started coming. But the point is that this class started 5 o'clock. It's easy because I don't have off. This is a lifestyle. Anybody who knows me knows they get this action all day, all night. Pick up the phone if I call you if you want to. You're going to be hearing this all over again. This is what I talk about. It's what I think about. It's what I like, right? But the point is there's no off. When you're doing something, when you're doing you, there is no off. So you can do it 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night. It's easy. And it's what I tell people that I work with to do business. If you were doing something that you really enjoyed, it would be easier for you. There'd be no off. But you're just doing something to make money, so there's off. That's why you're not as successful as you could be. Oh, I got to get off. I got to take off. Oh, I'm off. But then you go the other way. Well, I got to grind. You're taking off because you really don't like it, or you grind because you don't like it and you got to fight through it. You just got to keep going because you feel like there's some kind of value, some kind of intrinsic value in not sleeping for 3 days. Abandoning your kids, wife, family, blood pressure high, hungry, head hurting. You don't have to do that. That's not what I am does. That's what Veronica does. That's what Lucky does. That's what Marlon does. That is what we do in physical form when we don't know who we really are. When we do, we don't do that. You don't realize you don't need to. For what? It's just awareness. I am this thing. And because I am this thing, when God says, let there be light, was there a payment plan? Was God grinding? Was there some kind of counsel? Was there a vote? Has it stopped working? You are whatever you think you are as long as you think that. As long as that's what you're aware of being. This is about who you're being, not what you're doing. It's who you're being. Who you're being is controlling what you're doing, no matter how much you think you can override it. You can't. You think you're free when you're with your friends until you come home and your mom's sitting there in the dark and you remember quickly, okay, I'm not as grown as I thought I was. Yeah, I had the freedom, as far as her not being right there, but I'm not free of the outcome of anything that I did or that I do. You're free to make choices, but you're not free of the outcomes of them. And that's what I want us to all understand. This is about being. Who are you being? And who you're being is a collection of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Who you believe you are. If you believe you're just the physical you're gonna have a hard time. So it's always about here. And anytime I talk to you, it's always every weekend or during the day when I talk to you for one-on-ones, I bring you back to, I'm always talking to you about who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Yeah, that's great. Who are you? Yeah, that's great. Who are you? I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I understand you do, and I understand why you do. But if you want to fix that, quote, you have to fix you, meaning you have to change you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just not thinking properly. If there was something wrong with you, you couldn't make it right. Just like Monique said, you can't yell at a bird and be like, how come you're not a leopard? So if there's something wrong with you, we couldn't make it right. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just the belief that there is. You're believing you've accepted that to be true. So a lot of the things that we have accepted to be true cause us pain. And that's why people like Bill Wilson couldn't get off the 12-step program. So a lot of times people can't get off depression or can't get away from disease or illness. Why? Because they're physical expressions of their internal suffering. And a lot of people feel like they're supposed to suffer, or it's okay to suffer, or there's some kind of divine reward for suffering. And so you're literally suffering. So you can't stop all the physical things that reflect that. Can't stop drinking, can't stop smoking, can't stop partying, can't stop doing whatever is not good for you. And that's different for everyone. But everybody's expressing it in their own way. This is about you and who you are choosing to be every second of every moment of every day. That's the discipline. And it doesn't have to be hard. We can tell ourselves, you know what, I understand who I am. I understand how this works, and I'm doing it perfectly. You're starting from where you are. You can say that right now with no proof. And if you will hold on to that, you will see it's true. You will see that perfection start pouring through you, start coming out. But everybody wants proof. Della, turn the water on. Well, I don't think it works. Okay, well, turn it on. Well, prove to me it works before you turn it on. How am I going to do that? How can I prove to you the water works if you won't turn it on? How can you prove that you're perfect, meaning that perfection is flowing through you? It's not something you have to create, that you're wealthy, that you're successful, that you're healthy, that life is easy, that you get to do whatever you want to do. How can you prove it if you won't turn it on? If you won't turn your awareness on to that? Turn the water on. Look, I need to wash my hands. All right, turn the water on. Well, I don't see any water. Of course you haven't turned it on. Well, look, I want to be rich. All right, Della, you are rich. Well, I don't see anything. You haven't turned it on. You won't keep your attention there. You won't be that. Now you have to think, you have to go out and try to be that. Then you wonder why you have all these things. You wonder why you're under the influence of all these things. You have to learn how to get to the point of so what? I don't see it. So what? So what? It is what it is. I said I said this. I don't see it. So what? I know what I said. Your parents, you tell your kids something. I don't want to do that. Anybody ever said so what?
All the time.
I mean, I know we're holy and spiritual on here, so nobody's ever said that to their kids, right? But we've said it, right? So what? So what ended up happening? What you said. I got a #1 hit. I haven't seen it yet. So what? I'm this. I said it. I don't see it yet. So what? So you go, okay, so if you change your mind, then your kids are gonna do what they want to do. My mom said, let's go. Everybody get them go to church. Like I've told you guys thousands of times, we did exorcisms, seizures, we did faking every death. We did jumped off. We were near death experience. We did everything we could to literally get out of it. What do you think she did? What do you think she said?
So what?
So what?
So what? And you know how cold it was, and so what? She didn't even say it. She just acted like it. You walk by, you see people hanging out, you'd see people hanging off the roof upside down. You would think it was some kind of exorcism happening. She'd walk right by like she didn't see nothing. So what? You got the bill, you feel like I don't have the money. Okay, well, who's talking? I don't have the money. Who would say that? Only Della can say that. I am can't say it because the earth of the Lord and the fullness thereof. So I am can't be saying it. So who's talking? So that's why I say to you, who is God's child? It's Della. Della is the one that has to be taken care of. Della don't got it. Della didn't make money. I am made money. I am made the concept of that. Della just needs it in physical experience. So Della goes to I am, Della goes to I am. And how do you do that? By now attaching yourself. I am that. I am rich. This is paid. That's how you do it. 5 minutes later, it's still sitting there. So what? I've already made a decision. It's done. So what? You have to get that takes it. I mean, it takes as long as it takes. I don't want to. It doesn't have to be anything. It's whatever you tell yourself. Tell yourself you understand. Tell yourself you get it. Tell yourself you sell cars even when you ain't there. Hey, people looking for me, they put a deposit down and told me I'll be back. They'll be back in a week and they'll pick the car up. Just get all the paperwork and they'll sign it. You can tell yourself, you're telling yourself something anyway. Tell yourself, think positive, meaning tell yourself what you want to be. You are I am. You don't have to settle for anything. You don't have to accept anything. You don't have to practice gratitude. What is that? What does that even mean? You're not grateful to be I am? What else is there better to be? That is gratitude. But you got to practice it when you don't know who you are. Because you don't know who you are. If you know who you are, how could you not be grateful? Della, do you practice being Della?
Yeah.
You practice being Della? How do you do that?
Oh, well, I mean, no.
No. So how do you practice gratitude? It's either who you are or you're not. It's not a practice. It is something, it's an awareness. If you know your I am, what else is there to be grateful for? What else? What better? So just be like, man, I am. And once I realize I am and I'm the person that I am, like I understand, I'm grateful. I'm happy as I can be. It's all cracking out here. It's all good. I got the money. I got this. Because I am. I'm grateful. If you get that bill paid, don't you feel grateful? Don't you feel relieved? Don't you feel like, oh man, this is it? When you realize who you are, you'll feel the same way. You'll say the same. It'll naturally come out.
Absolutely. It's 9:15.
All right. So great to see everybody. Glad you came. I trust that we're understanding what this is. It's just a choice. Got to make choice. Who are you? Who are you? That's it. Who are you? If you think you're little this, it ain't gonna work. If you realize I am believing myself to be this, I'm having this experience. I'm not the car. I'm the driver. Cool. Then I can get in the car and enjoy it because I'm in charge. Right? But if you let the car tell you where you're going, you're in trouble. If you let bills tell you who you are, you're in trouble. If you let your health tell you who you are, you're in trouble. It may tell you who you're being in this moment, but that's not who you are. You are I am. You think you are something else. You think you're who you're being. You're not. You're I am. You have all the money. You have all the health. You are perfect, whole, and complete, lacking nothing, missing nothing, needing nothing, because you're not separate from anything. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. It means you shall not lack. You're not going without. You want something to drink. Yeah, that doesn't mean you don't want. It just means when you say that, you go in your kitchen and get something. You're not without it. You're not without anything. It's the belief that you are. You're not sick and broke and hurt and poor. You're just playing around. You're just messing around. You just believe in you are. You're willing to entertain it because you're I am. You can change your mind anytime you want, and you'll see the same thing. Right? All right. This is what we do here for all you new people. This is what we do here every week in a variety of forms. So that's
You're
what
welcome to join.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will send out the replay. And for those new folks, I'll share with you guys what we offer. We had slides, but Lucky just got on his.
Yeah. I was going to talk about something totally different, but
But that's the beauty of I am. You go as I am.
did.
If I am come with a slide, so be it. If I am come without a slide, so be that.
That's it. That's it.
I enjoyed it all because I am.
That's it. That's it. Telling you sit with that. You just sit down and just tell yourself that and just sit with that. Not an affirmation, but start realizing you are describing an attribute. You're describing yourself as the all knowing, the all doing, the all being, the all capable. You start to look at life different. You're like, well, if I'm all knowing, all doing, all being, all capable, if I'm all that, then what is this in relation to me? A bill? And you understand, man, go on and pay that. Who's been playing around with this? You'd be like, man, go on and pay that. That's ridiculous. It'll just you'll feel different. You won't feel the same. You won't be trying to convince yourself. You'll be like, it makes sense. This is not what. Yeah, here you go. All right, Veronica, is there anything you want to say or?
Well, let me share a little something since
I didn't
we're
know.
all still here. Yeah. Oh, wait, wrong one. Un momento, por favor. Oh, no, right one. Okay, I'm back. So basically, if today stirs something in you, there's more where that came from. And this is what I will be emailing the new folks that are here. We have the Mentality Club, which is what we're doing today. And we meet for 2 hours every week. And then we have a community as well. There's also the Youth Circle. And the Youth Circle is an upgraded version of the club because you do have access to the club and you get a one-on-one session with Coach Lucky. And these are actually 60-minute calls. I don't know why I put 30. And we also have a second 90-minute group call that meets on Tuesdays as well. And then you get a little bit more of you get an extra private community as well. And then lastly, if you're really, really, really ambitious and rather be like the one-on-ones, then we have the Inner Power Accelerator. And in this program, you actually get 2 weekly one-on-one calls with Coach Lucky. You also get access to the Saturday calls and the community, but you'll get more of a personalized roadmap, curated literacy explorations, so different book recommendations or insights from Coach Lucky, as well as customized assignments and growth exercises as well. And I'll be emailing all of these things. So this is just kind of to give you an idea of what we offer at the Mental Academy.
Wonderful. Well, I am the renegade that I am. I tell everybody, you don't need me. You don't need my help. You don't need anything. But sometimes if you want some help and you want some support, that's why we're here. My goal is to get you to the point where you know you don't. And sometimes we need training wheels because while we're learning, but you don't. Um, but if you want the help, we're here. We enjoy it, and that's it. But my goal is always to get you out of here as quickly as possible, because my goal is, once you know who you are, you don't. You take off running, you're off flying, and I hear from you, on trips, and hear from you with your successful businesses, and hear from you with whatever else it is. So these are things that we just offer to help you all. But I always want you to know that this is. I want you to know certain things about yourself, even if you don't know now. We start on time every week, because if I work with you, you can't. We don't show up late to calls. We don't show up not prepared. We don't show up, with our cameras off looking crazy. We don't. We don't do that, right? And so I always want you to know the best. I always want you. I'm not gatekeeping stuff. I'm not holding it off to make you do this or do that. I want you to know who you are from the beginning. Doesn't mean you always understand at the moment you hear it, but if it rains on the dirt and there's no seed, it's just dirt. There's no difference between the dirt and the concrete at that point. So putting seeds in there for you to understand that as you grow, you'll walk into, maybe I water it, maybe somebody else does, but I want you to know from the beginning who you are, even if you don't understand it. Like my mother did for me growing up. She used to always say, Lucky, don't forget who you are. Always remember who you are. Of course, when you're young, you're like, yeah, okay, can I go outside and play? Yeah, all right. But anyway, can I have $2? Yeah, anyway. Older, because you have that thing planted in the back of your mind. As you get older, you start looking for things like that winter coat you bought in August because it was on sale. Come November, December, January, you're like, ooh, I'm glad. Where's that coat at? You haven't thought about it in months, but you think about it again, right? So I say things to you. Yes, you don't need this. But if you want the help, it's available to you. But I tell you that because there will be a day you don't. And I'm telling you now that you don't. But you may not be ready for that. So we're here to help you, right? Get you to that point. And every call that we do, whether it's in the class, whether it's with a smaller group of the youth circle, or whether it's with the one-on-ones, is to remind you, hey, you don't need this. But until you realize that, I'm gonna give you every bit of information that you need to realize that. Because then you're off and flying. Then you're really free. Right? It's not to tether you here. It's not to keep you in also on a lifetime medication. I want you to understand that you are who I'm telling you are, because I know. But you may not see yourself that way. But this isn't a religious thing. This isn't a this or that. This is the truth about who you are. And the more aware that you are, the more aware that you are, the more you will produce. The more you will express yourself that way. The more you'll live that way, and things will look different to you, right? Even whether they change or not, they'll look different because you're different. And so my goal is to always bring you back to yourself. Who are you? What are you? And to realize that you are everything. You are all things. There's nothing bigger, greater, better, ever. And you can choose every moment of every second. You have that control of what you are and what you want to do or be. So if you want the help, that's what's here. Veronica, thank you for the slides and all that good stuff. Look pretty cool. And thank you all for coming. Anything, questions, comments, or anything before I let you go?
Coach, this message was extremely on time. Thank you so much. This was very much on time. And a lot of us, well, I'm not gonna speak for nobody else. Let me not try to hide behind everybody else. I understand that per se, I don't have to be here. It's cool to be here. This is a cool community. So thank you for that. Like just having that cool community. And this is, for me, this is an accountability space for the type of people I socialize with. So it's bigger than just taking the information and just knowing that I don't need it. I'm grateful that I know that I don't need it. I'm grateful that I can go through the week remembering I got this, I got this, I got all of this. But it's also nice to socialize with people who understand that as well. Kind of like an out in the open type of thing. Like, I know who thinks the way I think. I know who has access to the knowledge that I have, and who uses it and things like that. And it's just cool to network with those people and socialize with those people. So
I
thank
agree.
you for that.
Thank you. I agree. That's why I'm here every weekend sweating. I like it, and I love it to spend time with all of us. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for another good session, Coach Lucky. All I need is a reminder sometimes, and every day I get a reminder of your word, whether it be my child or life lessons, because she's Coach Lucky Jr. But just want to say thank you.
I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Wonderful.
You're welcome,
love
everybody. Have a great day. Thank you all for coming.
Is that my mom? Didn't I tell you to mute her?
Stop.
Hey, Miss Mona.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for stopping by. It was great seeing some of you that we haven't seen in a while. For the new folks, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, Coach Lucky gets his sweat on every Saturday. This is what we do. And it's a great, honestly, it's a great way to make this a lifestyle. So yeah, like he says, you don't need it. You could do this on your own, absolutely. But sometimes the community, just helps you to continuously live the way you want to live, and it's helped me personally to no longer be a victim of my own choices in life, to be honest with that. But definitely thank you for everybody, for our the club members. We'll be posting the replay in the community. For the new folks, we will be emailing you the replay as well. So that way you can kind of play it back and watch Coach Lucky throw the marker again and all the things he does, all the wild, crazy things he does, like talk about putting cheese on chicken and all that. But have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we hope to see you all in the future.
Hey, I'm a visionary, just to let you guys know before you went out with the cheese on the chicken. I'm a visionary. They call you crazy before they do it. You know, I'm a visionary. Della will tell you, cheese on the chicken, that's how you do it.
Gross.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Everyone, you guys have